Everybody who's listening to this, like, you have done it before. You have decided something as opposed to sort of meekly trying and then giving up or wanting or saying someday. Every single one of you has decided something at some point that you were going to go do regardless.
Yes.
And you did it. We all do it. And it really is so interesting because that decision, everything starts with mindset. Now, my 3 questions are, the first one is, will it be fun? Second one is, will it give me energy or deplete my energy? And the third one is, does it have meaning? And I hold everything up to those 3 things.
If you had to define what underlies or like underpins a authentic badass, like,
it's exactly what we were talking about. Somebody who is just unapologetically who they are. Giving yourself permission to be who you are and do what you love and what lights you up. That's what a badass is. And like doing what it takes to make that happen and not feeling like any shame around it or any shoulds or that you're not allowed to be too big and bright and fabulous and, just whatever it is.
Hey friend, I just wanted to thank you so much for stopping by and tuning into the podcast. It means the world to me. There are a lot of great podcasts out there, so it's truly an honor that you've decided to take the time out of your day to listen to mine. I'm really excited to bring on more and more inspirational guests for you. But before we get into it, I wanted to ask you a huge favor. If you're enjoying the show, would you please be so kind as to hit that subscribe button? I've noticed that over 98% of the people that watch our videos aren't subscribed, and subscribing really helps the algorithm put this episode in front of other people who it could help. And be sure to leave a comment sharing what most connects with you. So much love. Jen Sincero, who needs no introduction. Welcome to the Let It Be Easy podcast. I am so happy you're here. I think that your books are a staple in every ambitious woman's home.
I should hope so.
Well, they should be if they're not. In fact, I actually just bought your calendar yesterday for 2023. I thought, what a great way to start the day in 2023 with one of your favorite sayings. And I've prepared, as I just mentioned to you, a few of my favorite expressions of yours, passages from your books, things that you've said. And I just thought it'd be so fun to dive into some of them with you.
I love this idea. So no one's ever done that. So always fun when somebody comes up with something new.
I thought I'd kick off with this because we're on the brink of a new year. And this month, it brings up a lot of emotions. It's not always pleasant for some people, the holidays, as you know. But I love what you said here. You said, if you'd rather spend the holidays with your friends or your dog or digging wells in Kenya than with your family, do it. Are we allowed?
Isn't it funny what we don't allow ourselves to do? Because says who, right? Like
says who?
Yeah. So I'm a big believer in that. Like, and also how fun is it to do something out of obligation and then become resentful? That's always like my big question. Like, do it lights you up. And if people really truly love you, they want you to be lit up too. So if they're having a problem, it's on them.
I agree, Jen. And I feel as if there is this, how do we even say it? Like this invisible law or rule that there's the appropriate way to behave and a not so appropriate way to behave. And in a lot of cases, the appropriate way to behave isn't aligned, doesn't feel aligned with our integrity almost.
I know. And so why do we follow these rules? And seriously, who is the boss of us? Like, who makes them up? And why do we have to play? Like, it just doesn't make any sense to me at all. Really, not just to be a rebel for rebel's sake, but really doing stuff that really does not feel good to please other people just doesn't make sense. Really.
And as you go through your life, having written, so many incredible bestsellers now, do you find that the majority of the time you're pleasing yourself, and not at the you're harming other people, willy-nilly, but do you find that as you go through life, you're really consciously thinking about what will bring you pleasure and peace and focusing on that?
I have to say, more than because of the books, it's more age. Like, the older I get, oh my God, you better watch out if you're trying to guilt trip me.
I wouldn't dare.
I just don't have the energy. Honestly, I just don't have the energy to do the shove of things I don't want to do. Like I can't fake it anymore. I don't have the energy to fake. It takes too much energy to be someone you're not, to do things you don't want to do, to work yourself up to go do something somebody else wants you to do that you don't want to do. Like I just don't. I've quoted my father. I don't know if you pulled this quote out, but
let's see.
He's like, I don't know if you get older and wiser or older and just more tired. And I was like,
right.
Oh my God, exactly. So it's a great gift, but you don't have to wait till you're old. I wish someone had that I'd really latched on this earlier. But.
Yeah. And, speaking of doing things your way, I mean, you've sold millions of books. I mean, in the last 10 years, you're the self-help author. Like
That's nice.
I mean, of course, you know this. I think we all know this, or many of us know this. And still, you remain pretty private, it seems. I'm sure that everyone tells you should be 24/7 documenting your life, showing us your breakfast taco. Every single moment, not for you, share with us. Is that a decision that you made, or is that something that you had to navigate?
Yeah. I mean, to a degree, like I feel like I share, my books are all memoir, so I do share a lot of memoir and also a lot of really embarrassing, relatable moments because we all screw up massively, constantly.
Yes.
And then I sort of feel like, it can get a little out of whack. And especially as time goes on and more people read my book, like I just sort of feel I have to have good boundaries around my private life. So, and I do, and I'm happy to share certain things. But again, that really goes along with what feels good to me. If I want to show them the sunset in my backyard, which I do every day, pretty much.
Yes,
I'm happy with that. That brings me joy sharing that. But I don't feel like I have to do, let people into my private life at all. I think honestly, I just have to be honest and truthful, and then I get to choose. Yeah.
And speaking of honesty, Jen, one of my favorite interviews that you did was with a friend of mine. You may recall Veronica Dagger from the Wall Street Journal podcast, Secrets of Wealthy Women. And you spoke about the importance of honesty and being honest with yourself. And here's a quote from you. You share, back in the day, I was always broke, living in a converted garage at the age of 40. And then I decided I was unavailable to live my life with that reality. So I decided to change it. This is, of course, first of all, very honest, but is it, I think maybe the average person listening to this, if they haven't read your books yet, they might go, wow, can you just make a decision like that? Like, is that really available?
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? And it's almost annoying because you're like, seriously? That's all I had to do? And I've been sitting in this, dump for this long. But yeah, I mean, and think about it. Everybody who's listening to this, like you have done it before. You have decided something as opposed to sort of meekly trying and then giving up or wanting or saying someday, every single one of you has decided something at some point that you were going to go do regardless.
Yes.
And you did it. We all do it. And it really is so interesting because that decision, everything starts with mindset. You think about it like you're going to do 50 sit-ups and by 38, you're just like, I'm so over this. You make that decision in that moment to give up or not to give up. It's a decision. Right? So anything that you're pushing yourself through, there's always a very long, enticing list of reasons to give up or not do it or whatever. But that decision is what is going to override all of those very convenient and familiar excuses. And so that's why I say when I decided to not be broke anymore and to actually go and get rich, that was a very serious decision that I made. And then everything that I did from that moment on, because I was so not kidding, fell under the lens of that decision. And so if it was going to make me money, if it was going to change my, strengthen my wealth consciousness, whatever it was, that's what I was interested in.
I love it. You said in another interview, if it's not making me money, I'm not doing it. That was your clarity. And I was like, yes. I was like, why can't that be everyone's mantra? Especially those who are like, I don't have enough money. I don't make enough money. My income's fixed. And look, we're in a tricky world right now. Everything, prices are so fluctuating so much. Can I ask a bit more about this, Jen? If it's not making me money, I'm not doing it. Could you speak to this for a moment for us?
Yeah. And I'm really glad you brought it up because I am sure that is making a lot of people uncomfortable
Oh.
because we immediately go to, if it doesn't make me money, I'm not doing it, like a lack of morals, a doing
Mm-hmm.
things that are not so savory for the unholy dollar. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's such a loaded thing to make the decision to make money, right? And meanwhile, if you don't make the decision to make money, you probably won't make any. And so I always compare it to like making the decision to go on a diet or to get into shape or, get a new job. Like everybody's cheering you on for those, but making the decision to make money is so tricky because it's so loaded. I've written books on
Mm-hmm.
sex, I have studied religion, and I still feel like money is far more loaded than all of them. So I think, so this is kind of why I'm so excited to talk about this, because it
Yeah.
is, you have to make that decision regardless of what other people think. And of course, if you're a good person, you're not going to compromise your morals. You're not going to step on other people's necks to get where you need to go.
Yes.
But what you are going to do is to really think, you have a limited amount of time in each day and a limited amount of energy.
Mm.
What are, is it worth, if your goal, if your decision is to make money, you have to really look at stuff and be like, okay, is it on path? Is it on topic for what I'm doing?
Mm.
And I was really, really, I mean, obviously I had fun and I slept and did things that didn't make me money. but,
Yeah.
but I was very, very focused on any work, especially I did. And, just networking and going out there and being very serious about it and intentional.
So if someone's listening, they can hear you at the pinnacle, like truly like self-help author, like, wow, what a movement you've created, Jen. And, knowing that in your 40s, you're very open about this, $28,000 a year, right?
Mm.
To now, was it an instantaneous switch for you that, okay, this is it, enough, end of like, enough of this? Or were you like gradually working up your courage bit by bit? And do you still continue to do that?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I made the decision. And then, of course, there was like the terror involved and the
Mm.
backtracking, like, but it's a muscle, right?
Yeah.
So strengthening your new resolve and strengthening your belief muscles, especially, it's a muscle. So when you go to the gym, it takes time to get into shape. So of course it took me time to get into shape. And I was reading all the wealth consciousness books and going to all the
Mhm.
seminars and hiring coaches and stretching myself, doubling my rates and terrifying myself, and spending money, investing in my education and all the scary things. But everything I did just kept strengthening me and strengthening me. And,
Mhm.
today there, new level, new devil. There's always
Mhm.
something to work on. So yeah.
And speaking of the gym, I know one of your rules is visiting the spiritual gym
Mm-hmm.
because it never ends, right? The education that we give ourselves and staying on track.
Yeah.
I'm so curious to know what you consume or if there's a routine that you have, because I'm a big
Totally.
self-help book reader myself. Like, who are you reading? Like, is it in the morning? Like, how do you
Oh,
how do you do it?
Well, it changes all the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
And it really
Yeah.
depends what I'm doing. And right now I'm just in this really, really juicy moment where, next year I'm going on a big tour. It's a 10-year anniversary of You Are a Badass. And I'm doing
Congrats.
a podcast for the first time, which I'm so excited. And just a lot of other, it's just, work is so fun. And anyway, and I really want to strengthen my spirituality and my consciousness and show up bigger than I've ever been in that regard. So I have been really religiously meditating every single day, and I do it right when I wake up. And so that's a non-negotiable. As far as content, I am a total devotee of Abraham Hicks.
Me too.
And I listen to that every single day, twice a day. Music is a huge one for me. Just listening to music that pumps me up and keeps, it really is about keeping your frequency high. So certainly I have days when I'm not so happy or stuff goes on. It's a give and take, but I'm extremely diligent about keeping my frequency high. When I can, I'm allowed to have my temper tantrums like everybody else, but
Yes.
there are times when you really are in the moment of choice and it's like, okay, come on, put on your big girl pants. So it is that too. Yeah.
So are you meditating guided or you can do it on your own?
I'm doing it on my own.
So for how long?
Sometimes and sometimes I do it guided, but lately I prefer on my own. It changes, right? Like I'm sure your stuff changes too. Just it's sort of what you're in the mood for and what's really working. in the
Yeah.
moment. Yeah.
And with Abraham Hicks, you just type something into YouTube, Abraham Hicks
Yes.
confidence, Abraham Hicks discomfort. Like, do you just do what you fancy each day?
Yeah. I honestly just do Abraham Hicks, and every day they upload new ones. Those guys are amazing.
I
And I don't
know.
watch the silly little, they have those cartoons on the YouTube ones. I don't know, but they're fine. But I just listen to it. I have a dog, and I walk him, and it's a routine. Every morning he needs a walk. Every morning I need to hear that. So it's great.
And who's on your playlist? Who are your favorite high vibing musical artists?
Oh God, it's so embarrassing. Like, I am so old school. I am totally grandma when it comes to music, but I'm like, okay, so I like Neil Young. Like, what's wrong? He's not high vibe though. He's what I'm like allowed to like sit and whatever, melancholy.
Yeah.
What am I listening to? Let me see if I can try and be hip here. I like Lizzo. I like LCD Sound System, but at this point they're ancient too, right? Just when I think I'm like on the cutting edge, I'm like, that was 10 years ago.
You did
already?
say Lizzo. Hey, listen, we got to give you some credit.
Okay, yeah, I was just trying there. I got really into this band that I loved when I lived in LA, and I can't even pronounce the name. It's like Fujiya and Magawi. Do you know those guys?
Sounds cool. It sounds too cool for me.
Fun. See, I'm so cool. And then I'll just put on, I love house music, and I don't know any of the artist names. So that's what's so fun about the modern world is you put on a streaming service and you hear a song you like, and then you play the radio station of that song, and you just learn so much. I love it. It's so exciting. I'm so happy I was born when I was born.
I know.
Right?
But what I love that you're illustrating now too, though, Jen, is like the fact that this is a practice. It's almost like a discipline that you follow and like we said, not without temper tantrums, not without bad days, not without all the experiences of being human, but it's not like you wake up and you're like, amazing day today. That doesn't just happen.
Right.
Because
you have to train yourself.
Yeah, because people have said to me, for many years now, are you always like this? And I'm like it's a criticism almost, or like I'm a bimbo, and I'm like, you know what? It takes a lot of work for me to be like this.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
And of course, reading your book and the way that you infuse humor, you said that, being a comedy writer, adding it to self-help has been so fun for you.
Yeah, I think most people do this. I wrote the books I wanted to read, but I do have to preface that with all of the self-help books that came before mine helped me so much. But I was like, God, it could be so much funnier and ruder and, whatever.
Yeah. So. And in the original Badass book, you list all of your favorite resources. And I was like, yes. Oh my gosh, consuming your work. What a joy. There's one thing that you say, Jen, that I loved. And I'm going to quote this, of course, attributing to you, but it's so good. So often we pretend we've made a decision. Well, when what we've really done is sign up to try until it gets too uncomfortable.
No.
Oh, I think everyone feels guilty of this. Could you speak to us about this? Because I feel as if, you see, you can almost feel it in someone. Yeah, okay, I'll try that. Yeah, I've committed. I'm going to do I'm going to do the business.
Right.
And you're like, are you
really? Right. I know. The thing is, but it's all about how you frame it, right? So you sign up until it gets too uncomfortable. So of course you decide you're going to lose weight. You have to work out. You have to not eat when you're hungry sometimes, or you have to eat food that you're not too excited about eating. It's going to be uncomfortable. However, if you look at that discomfort only, and you don't realize it's going to be really uncomfortable lugging around those extra 50 pounds. It's going to be uncomfortable feeling like I've let myself down. It's going to be uncomfortable not like totally going for it and being in my power and loving my beautiful body. Like there's a way to flip it where you're uncomfortable anyway. So why not be uncomfortable in the direction of the thing you're going for?
And get something out of it, right?
Yeah. Growth is uncomfortable, but that's how you know you're on the right track. If you're comfortable, you're not doing anything to change.
Oh my gosh. I always think, Jen, if I'm not slightly uncomfortable all the time on some level, not every second of every day, but unless there's some fear in me, I'm probably coasting a little have been for a while.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the discomfort is good. One thing that you say here, which I think is, it's so good. Acknowledging that there's something you desire, not going after it, and deciding that you know what? It's fine. I'll just focus on what I do have, make myself a ham sandwich and call it a day. Isn't happiness. It's denial. The reason I love this passage is because I think that sometimes we trick ourselves, almost like we get self-help wrong, or even someone like Abraham wrong, thinking, if I just say, I feel great, I feel great, I feel great, we can almost gratitude ourselves into submission with what we already have. Like, but I don't have cancer, but my kids are healthy. So, that's enough. I think that sometimes there's a bit of a fine line with that. What do you think?
Ooh, I love this question. That's so good. It's so true. So here's the thing. Absolutely be grateful that you don't have cancer and that your kids are healthy and that you get to live where you live. And my God, I mean, walk around sobbing in gratitude all day long.
Yeah.
It's not a mutually exclusive thing. You don't either get to be grateful for what you have or grow. It's both. It's like be super grateful for every single thing and then also be excited and grateful for all the stuff that you're going to grow into, because it's the law of nature. Growth is the law of nature. Like trees don't hit a certain height and then call it a day until they die, right? It's our nature to keep growing and expanding and learning, and it's part of who you are. So it is, I think you should absolutely be quote unquote satisfied with where you're at and excited to grow.
And do you think that there's a way of identifying in the body almost where you're at? Because sometimes I think we can lie to ourselves so thoroughly. Like, so for example, like, when I was growing up, my father was an addict. He died of addiction. We moved around a lot, living in domestic violence shelters. And my mom would always say like, oh, we have each other. That's enough. We have each other. That's enough. And I'm like, I'd like a little more than this.
I'd like a bike.
I would like a bike. And look, we'd lived on church donations. Like they would give us things,
Wow.
But she always had this this terrible relationship with money. And so I had to learn a lot, and a relationship with just even receiving, and life is so much of an unlearning of things, right?
Absolutely.
All the influences that we have. So do you think that there is like a way of how do you identify when something needs to change?
Look at your life, where, if you're living somewhere that doesn't make you happy, or just, listen to when you get jealous to other people talking about their lives, like that's a good one for me. I basically want everybody's life and mine. I'm like, that's so cool. But what lights you up? What are you drawn to? What are you interested in learning about? It's we're not all the same. So the things that you're interested in that excite you are meant for you. It's not everybody wants to have a podcast or be a self-help author or whatever, so if it's interesting and exciting to you, that's how And then if you don't have it, or you've decided you can't have it or whatever, then that's an area you could work on.
Yeah, I heard you say in an interview, I think it was on the Today Show, I was scouring your press page, and you said, look at what you complain about. Like, look at, right? It's like, because people will complain about their marriage for 2 decades, right? Or they'll complain about their friends. People complain about their friends. I'm like, you get to choose those,
Yes. Exactly.
Don't complain to me about your friends. You crazy? Like,
that's so funny.
We're lumbered with the family, right? But I mean, I think the areas of complaint, I think that we feel entitled to those. Right?
To our complaints?
Yeah. I think we're like,
isn't it funny? Mm-hmm. Yeah, we get off on it, and we like engage other people. When somebody complains about something we complain about, we're like, oh my God, right? In fact, we're kind of doing it right now.
Oh, I love that. Do you, when you say like, you can look at someone and go, oh, I like that what she has, or sometimes it comes up as envy, right? As a feeling of, oh, do you have feelings like that still if you observe someone and go, oh, but she's doing this thing really well, or that thing really well, or he's figured that out, or do those feelings still come up for you?
Of course. And, and it's interesting when they do. It's funny. I was looking at another self-help author who has like 2 million followers on Instagram. And I'm so wimpy about social media. Like my niece is always like, are you kidding me? You have 155,000 followers. That's it. You're so useless. I was like, I know. But so then like I saw somebody else who had millions who was in my field. And I was like, I really, I want that. Like and then I thought a little more deeply about it. And I was like, I actually do not care at all. But so it was more my ego wanting to be as popular or as successful or whatever. And I was like, I don't really care. Like, and if I do care, then I have to go do something about it. But I think it's so interesting. Our sort of knee jerk reactions to things anything that is knee jerk is the one that needs the most questioning, because it's a pattern and it's a should, and, it's some belief, and maybe it is true. Maybe, if I did want it, then rock on, go do it. But
yeah.
So
how do you decipher? So, your niece will say, oh, this is crazy, you should have blah, blah, blah. And then someone else who you feel like she doesn't even write very well, she's got all these, right, whatever it is that comes up.
Right, sure.
And then you're like, I got to get on this. And then almost like there's a slight shame feeling that you haven't figured it out, right? Perhaps. And then there's a feeling of, oh, well, I've got to take some action now. So a weird urgency. And then like a deflation once you actually breathe and go, like, I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck.
Well, there's not even deflation. It's almost elation. It's like, great. I don't have to do anything.
So is there like, because everyone will also give you advice, right? Oh, Jen, you should be there. You should be like, you should have a YouTube channel. It never ends. All the things that you can be doing.
Correct.
So how do you really decide for you the best way to be discerning with your
oh my gosh. Another great question. Before, in the old days, it used to be like, will it make me money? That was really, because I was on a path, man. And so now I am utterly flabbergasted and delighted and grateful to say that I don't have to do that anymore. I don't. The money's good, and it's coming and it's continuing, and I don't plan on it stopping, but that is not part of the equation anymore. So now my 3 questions are, the first one is, will it be fun? Second one is, will it give me energy or deplete my energy? And the third one is, does it have meaning? And I hold everything up to those 3 things. And it's so great. My life is so much fun right now because everything has to pass that test. So I don't do it if it doesn't. Yeah.
Write these down, friends. Okay. Will it be fun? Will it give or take my energy? And does it have meaning according to you?
Yeah, exactly.
What a great filtering system.
I had to think about it, because believe me, I was really lost at sea around the pandemic. I put out Badass Habits, which, by the way, I don't know how the hell I wrote a motivational book in 2020. I do not know how I did it. It was, talk about,
it's incredible.
It was really, I was in a fugue state. I honestly forget I even wrote that book all the time. But anyway, so I did that. And then I couldn't go, I did my little Zoom tour. Right. And then after that, I wasn't under contract anymore. And I could and I was kind of used to staying home in my pajamas. And I was like, sweet, I'm going to retire. This is great. And then I got really bored. And so for honestly, I'm just coming out of it. It was a good 2.5 years where did you read that? There was that whole sort of, not movement, but discussion about languishing. That some guy wrote the thing in the New York Times about, you're not suicidal. You're not even really depressed. You're just kind of like, what's the point? Like the almighty meh. And I was just in such a meh state where I couldn't get excited about a damn thing. None of the things that I used to get excited, like traveling, being out in nature, hiking, like all of it. I was like, I guess I'll do it. And it was very upsetting, actually, because I've never been like that. And I'm so grateful to say that I am back. And I think I just had to kind of wait it out. And then I came up with this, how am I going to decide what I'm doing, like fun, energy, and meaning? And it really has worked well for me. But I had to put a lot of thought into it because I was like, I don't have that motivation anymore of having to support myself. So what the hell?
Was there, now that you're like out of it, so because sometimes this can, depending on what you believe, it can be like an astrological cycle, sorry. Like it's possible. Who knows what, like
I'm game for all of it. We're on a ball in infinite space.
Exactly. What do we know? What does anybody know?
Exactly.
But so looking back on that period, do you feel almost gratitude for it for any reason, like any appreciation for?
Oh yeah, like I do. It's, first of all, I think it's really important to go through challenges like that because it makes you a lot more compassionate for other people who are. And it was a great, I'm a big believer too, and things have to be sort of fallow and everything dies. Everything has a winter, so before it can spring up again. And, this whole concept of a midlife crisis, which I think I'm past, since I'm past my midlife, but you reinvent yourself, not just in midlife, but over and over and over again. So I'm 57, and what I wanted when I was 47 is very different than what I wanted now. And I think a lot of us sort of don't know who the hell we are and what the hell we want as we age, because it changes. So I think there isn't really a lot of attention put on that, and you're just sort of supposed to know. So I think giving yourself the permission and the opportunity to take some time and figure it out for the new version of yourself, it's really time well spent. So I do feel like that, albeit long time that I spent playing with my lips, staring at a wall, like I'm grateful for it, because it did give me time to figure it out.
I think it's such a relief to hear that, somebody like you who's come up with such wisdom that's been so helpful to millions. You had a period that where you didn't feel like the biggest badass in the whole world, like going out and just like, taking the world by the balls. Like, and I think, because we all go through these cycles, like it's unavoidable, like people everywhere. And the thing is, when you're in it, you don't know it's going to end. Right.
Right.
So you're like, is this it? Is there something wrong? Is
this it now? Yeah.
Yeah. So, it just lifted over time. Oh, it was a while, but it didn't lift.
I'm trying to think what spawned it. I mean, certainly the fact that it wasn't a given that I was going to go on a tour with You Are a Badass. And it was not a given that my publisher would reissue a 10th anniversary edition, so we sort of needed that to have something to celebrate in a way. So I didn't know it was going to happen. And so when it did, then I had to start thinking about what I wanted to do. And, we were thinking maybe a talk show. And I was like, I don't want to work that hard. I don't have to show up every day. If I could even get a talk show, like let's start
early in the morning.
Early in the morning, brush my hair every day. So, but it got that. And then it was just sort of, I've hired a publicist, and I am going to get that Instagram following up more for my niece than anybody. But it made me start thinking about what I wanted to do professionally. And it lit the spark, thank God, because I'm so excited about next year and even this year getting prepared for it. But I don't, and I think I was just ready to stop. But you know what? It's a good, and I don't want to take a lot of time on this, but there was something that happened. It didn't even happen, but it was more of an awakening. Like I just kind of woke up from it. I remember thinking, oh my God, I'm out. And it wasn't all about the book, but I can't remember. So
I'm telling you, I think it was an astrological cycle.
Okay. That's just what happened? When did it happen? And what was it?
I'll give you my astrologer.
Really?
Oh yeah.
I can't wait to hear.
We're meant to go through these seasons. They're very intentional for our development. So, and you don't get to pick, the universe picks, but here we are, and here you are, energized for your lovely new year. So
all right.
Speaking of this and how you how you took that time for yourself and didn't pressure yourself or push yourself, you remained, you did what you needed to do. You say to Jen, take care of yourself as if you're the most awesome person you've ever met. Oh, I feel like it, if I said to most people, take care of yourself as well as you take care of your dog, they'd be like, wow, my dog is spoiled.
Right.
But me, I don't need to sleep. I can work.
Right. Right. Isn't it interesting?
Could you speak to us about that for a moment? Because I feel like maybe 1% of the population do this.
I know. It's so interesting, isn't it? And it's learned because, my dog doesn't take care of me, quote unquote. I mean, he totally does just by, showing up. But
by being alive, yeah.
Yeah, but I think it's such an interesting thing to realize that his joy and his enthusiasm and his cuteness is making me live longer because I'm happier so much more of the time. And I have to exercise, take him for a walk when I totally don't feel like it. So it's like he's giving so much just by being himself. And I don't think we realize that just by being our most authentic, beautiful, badass, happiest selves, we're helping other people. We've been taught to think of that as selfish, which it is, but selfish is good. It is not bad. And that you spreading yourself thin and having terrible boundaries and doing what others want and throwing yourself under the bus, putting everybody else's needs first, being resentful, being passive aggressive, feeling unworthy, feeling unappreciated. Like, come on, how hard is that equation? Like, who is that good for?
I know. And where's like,
Yeah.
what do we expect at the end of that? Like, there's not a medal,
Love.
right? Oh,
We're looking for not being abandoned in love. Yeah. And
mhm.
meanwhile, you can get it a much more fun way for all,
Yeah.
really.
Yeah.
I
I,
mean, and I always ask people to think about somebody that they know who really is just like not taking can I curse?
yeah, please.
Okay, not taking bullshit from anybody. You know,
Yes.
who's in their power, who's joyful, who's unapologetic, and it doesn't mean you don't help other people and you don't do
Yeah.
things for other people. In fact, it probably means you do more for other people because
Exactly.
you're not exhausted and resentful all the time.
Yeah.
We know what that's like and we know how that makes us feel. It's empowering, man, right? So it's like,
Mhm.
why wouldn't you want to be empowering for other people by taking care of yourself?
Oh, the way that I hear this, the way that it connects with me, your words is that like your success, however you define that, like however maybe
Mm-hmm.
it's taking care of your body or just going for it, like balls to the wall. It's generous. Like
Yes.
there's
Right? Isn't that a twist?
uh-huh,
Yeah, I love
yeah,
it, right? It's
yeah.
all how you frame it. It is generous.
Mm,
You're modeling for everybody else what's possible for them and letting them in on the big magic trick that, yeah, you make a decision and you go do it and you get it.
I can say, Jen, your success for me has been generous. Like watching you,
Oh,
seeing the
thank you.
work that you create. Like also, I could be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it took your book a little while to totally take off, right?
Oh
To
my
become
God.
the world dominating book.
3 years.
3 years.
Well, it took nobody, this is the biggest like nanny boo boo in the whole world.
Mhm.
Like nobody wanted it. We could not find a publisher anywhere. They're all like, oh God, yeah, what the world needs is another self help book.
Like J.K.
And
Rowling, right? Here we
yeah,
are
right. Yeah, nobody
in the
wanted it.
nonfiction world.
And
Yeah,
then
take that.
right. So then I got like this crappy little book deal, but we were so grateful to get anybody. And then, it was my third book. So
Yeah,
I knew that you didn't make money writing books and that whatever. And
yeah,
I just hoped it would help my coaching
yeah.
business at the time. And then like 6 months into it, my publisher was like, what are you doing to promote this thing? And I was like, well, I sent it out to my list of 10,000 people and, but it must be me and all my hard work. And what had happened was people would read it and then buy 10 copies and give it to their friends. And it was just a total grassroots thing. And it hit the New York Times bestseller list 3 years after it came out, which is really rare. And then it stayed on. I mean, it's still on like 5 years.
I
Yeah, I
know.
know.
Like,
It's a
wow.
miracle. I know it's a miracle. It's a total miracle.
This is so generous because like Jen, people create works of art, however, whatever field they're in, and if it's not, if Kim Kardashian isn't tweeting about it within 5 minutes, they're like, "That's a failure. I give up. Not doing that again."
Uh-huh. Yeah, right.
And I know that you created something honest from your heart, right? And there's it's a Jewish expression that what comes from the heart touches the heart.
That's
And
great.
and Mark
So
Niebuhr said,
true.
when one heart speaks, all hearts fly. I think
Oh,
that's beautiful.
see, that's what we mean with this
That's
self-love thing. Yeah.
that's what we. So it
Mm-hmm.
took you, and in that 3 years, you're just going about your business and your life. You were just like coaching,
Yeah.
doing your,
Mm-hmm.
and then when this huge success came your way and stayed, like it's been so sustainable for you through what appears to be not much effort really on your part. Like this is the coolest thing, right? It's just
Yeah.
maintaining itself.
I know. And again, thank you,
Yeah.
pandemic, because everybody was falling apart. So everybody my book sales went up 30% in 2020.
Wow.
I mean,
Wow.
I'm not happy for the pandemic, but
Yes. Yeah.
yeah. And I just, no, I'm amazed. I am really so amazed and so grateful. And it's so interesting 10 years later going on tour with it because I wrote it when I was 10 years younger. And
Yeah.
so it's really, actually, I'm doing, right after the book came out, right after the book, I finished the book. I did an 8-week because I was still coaching and I did an 8-week online coaching course.
Yes.
When the book came out and I taught it for a couple of years and it's so much fun. And then it's been a DIY course on my website and I'm relaunching that in 2023 too. I haven't coached in ages and I'm so excited, especially the group coaching call. It's so much fun. So and it's funny because I was going to reshoot the whole course because I shot it. I didn't have a ton of money at that point, and I was on this road trip with my boyfriend at the time, and we were fighting, and I was like bags under my eye, like terrible production quality. And so I was like, oh my God, this is so embarrassing. I can't use these videos anymore. But then I was like, you know what? I'm going to keep it. I'm going to shoot a new intro video explaining what was going on. But like, I want people to know it's a damn good course. I'm really proud of the material, but some of the visuals are hilariously bad. And I'm like, You can start where you're at. You don't have to be perfect. It just has to be really good. If you would like to see me after being up till 5 crying to make a video the next morning, take my class.
See, but this is also generous. See, like just the ability to joke a little bit. And I'm sure too, you've had such an evolution yourself in the last 10 years. What's it like going back and, can you imagine like touring the book again, hearing everyone's favorite quotes?
No, it's what I'm super excited about. And this is sort of it's not a secret anymore for the podcast and on the tour. I want to talk to my readers and be like, okay, guys, you've been reading this over the past 10 years. Who's got incredible stories that they want to share? So my whole podcast is going to be me interviewing readers everybody sent in videos and I'm still going through them and I am dying. They make me look like the schleppiest schlep. These like people who are on food stamps are now making 7 figures. Like it is so incredible what people have done. So I am so excited about that, about making it about them. Cause it really, it's I gave birth and they took it for 10 years. So
that's yes. It's a joy. It's a co-creation.
Beyond. Yeah. Yeah.
What would you say is like the underlying, because even like the word badass, it's not used as much in the UK, but I know that your book is also big there. But if you had to define what underlies or like underpins a authentic badass,
it's exactly what we were talking about. Somebody who is just unapologetically who they are. Giving yourself permission to be who you are and do what you love and what lights you up. That's what a badass is. And like doing what it takes to make that happen and not feeling like any shame around it or any shoulds or that you're not allowed to be too big and bright and fabulous and, just whatever it is. Everybody doesn't have to be like kick-it ass, but there's, you do and whatever that means to you, it doesn't matter what it is, but if it's your thing, you got one shot at being on earth as the you that is you, right? So
I know.
What else are you going to spend your time doing?
Sometimes this question comes up for me. I'd love to hear your take on it, Jen. Just say that I have a goal, right? And of course we have our own timelines in our mind and in our planners. When you're not on track and you're doing everything right, right? So you're doing all the steps. You're like, but I did that. My marketing, my blah, 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 whatever it is. And it's not arriving. How do you know where either maybe the universe is telling you this isn't the right path versus this is my moment to persevere. This is my final moment.
And it's kind of like that. What's the good fear and what's the look out fear?
I'm being a fool now? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's practice. I think it's like a muscle. It's a intuition muscle. So, when you're doing everything right and it's not happening, I think there's 2 things. One, you have to check your energy around it and your beliefs around it. Like, is your belief, it's got to be hard. I've got to work really hard to get what I want. Are you super focused on the fact that it's not working? Or are you like, it's coming, I'm doing it, I'm psyched, the universe has my back? Where is your focus and what are you telling yourself and what are you thinking about? That is just as important, if not more important than what you are doing. Right. And so, because when you're in the zone, when you are in touch with your higher self, that's not full of fear and doubt and worry and freaking out and proof that it sucks and blah, 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 then you get the intuitive hits that give you the thought to take the action that is going to get you exactly where you want to go. So the energy work is paramount. Go to the spiritual gym.
Yes.
And then, you just have to trust that it's happening. And if you do need to course correct, if you are doing the wrong things or the reasons it's not happening is because it's not meant to be or whatever, that is something that like meditation and really feeling into it, into your gut and being like, is this something it's kind of like me wanting 2 million followers on Instagram. Like I really wanted it for about 10 seconds. And I was like, oh, once I thought into it. So that's, get out of your head and get into the feeling and feel it.
Yeah. I love the feeling because the reason I love that is because no one can tell you how you feel. Right. No one knows what's inside of you. No, and you can look at someone, like you can observe someone and go, I don't know if that's going to work out. Like that's a real pipe dream. That guy wants to be a Broadway singer or like, that girl, I don't really know if she's cut out for, and then you see like, or sometimes there are you see these incredible results later, or
Yeah.
something surprises you, and you go, wow, like nobody knows. Like,
Nobody knows.
oh, only we know. And don't you think too, Jen, like the world is created, like the most beautiful things in the world are created or have been created by unreasonable people.
Yes,
Like
reasonable, a beautiful word for it. Yes. There's no reason because it's all feeling.
And so, don't you think that that's like where the real courage is, being able to trust the feeling and then take the next like subsequent step, because everyone's got an opinion. Oh, and there are lots of data and statistics that it won't work out.
Of course. Yeah. And we all want to fit in and be approved of. And, and so that is the discomfort that most people, that's probably the biggest discomfort most people won't allow themselves, is getting kicked out of the tribe or looking stupid or, not being able to explain why they think it's going to work, just getting beaten down.
Yeah. When you have ideas, do you kind of keep them to yourself in the early stages, or do you like to share and talk them out?
I'm kind of a big mouth, so I aspire to keep them to myself, but I get really excited, so I talk about everything. Yeah.
Yeah, I do too. I aspire to keep it quiet, but I'm like, everyone listen to this amazing.
I know.
Okay, can I share a couple more lovely quotes of yours that I love?
Sure.
Okay, that's my favorite. I want to save the one for the end. I'm just
okay, great.
Let me see. Your life is your party. You get to choose how you invite people and experiences and things into it.
Mm-hmm.
I think sometimes we don't think we're allowed to choose who comes to our party, because you've got to invite the neighbors, got to invite the in-laws. Could you? I love just the also definition of life as a party, because I do believe so much in fun. How powerful are we really in terms of inviting people and experiences? If someone thinks, well, I'm stuck in this job and like it's not a good time to change, but this is my coworker, or this is my
we're on a planet in infinite space. And it's a universe, it's an universal intelligence that created us. So our thoughts really, truly, I totally believe that our thoughts create our realities. So there's that great quote, I can't remember, whether you think you can or you can't, you're right.
Yeah.
So whatever you think, whatever you decide to believe, and it's a decision what you believe. So
yes.
Yeah.
And also, when I love to observe people who are doing life their way, especially if people think that they're a bit strange, I'm like, that person's my role model over there.
Weirdo.
Who doesn't give who does not care, who does not exist to please you.
Right.
So too, when you go through life, right, with the work that you do, there are, of course, the people who read your book, who follow you, but there are people who you're inspiring without even knowing, whose names you'll never know, who you'll never hear from, by just being that example, like you personally, like you, Jen, like you being yourself, your way, your style. And so I always think too, if I've got the courage to maybe not go against the grain, but just do things my way, even though it's unusual. Even, for example, living in a country without any family for 20 years. I've never lived in the same country as my family, and I love it.
Wow.
I love my family, but I also love the fact that I don't have to go to cousin stuff. I don't have, none of that. And I also don't want kids, right? I've never wanted them. And that's also, some people have opinions about that. But I'm like, there are other women who don't, and they ask me about it. And I'm like, I don't really have much to say, but just because it's not even something that's on my mind. It's just my choice. Well, not even, it's just me, who I am.
Right. Yeah.
And there's no apology. There's no explanation. It's just, what a great way to live. Right.
Yeah.
And so I think that, like you just said, it's your, when it's your party, you get to decide. Living that way too isn't great for you, but it's great for anyone observing who doesn't think that they can.
Right. Exactly. And it really is all just about leading by example. I mean, you can tell other people till you're blue in the face. Yeah. But leading by example is really the only way. And even then, it's up to them to make the decision, to make the change. If they see you doing something that they think is so brave and out of the ordinary, whether or not they do it really is ultimately up to them, regardless of you.
And speaking of that, you say here, this is so cool. You're responsible for what you say and do. You're not responsible for whether or not people freak out.
Because someone's always going to freak out no matter what you do. Oh my God. I mean, I have gotten some of the funniest hate mail, and there was
Oh.
this. I mean, no matter what you do, come on.
It's true.
There was a blogger way back in the day. It was a mommy blogger like 25 years ago. And she got so much hate mail that she had a page on her blog that was called Monetizing the Hate. And she put all the hate mail, and Target sponsored it because it got so many hits. I was like, that is the most brilliant thing I've ever seen.
Wow.
Monetizing the hate.
Way to flip that. Wait for the hate to backfire.
Making money off of it. Oh my God, I loved that. I thought it was so genius.
It's like that actress. I'm not sure if you remember this a couple of years ago. She was being blackmailed by someone who got her nude photos off the cloud. God. By the way, I didn't know this. Every time you take a picture, it's uploaded to the cloud.
Thank you for that information. I really appreciate that. Okay.
Every picture. Just don't take pictures or videos unless you don't. Just use your memory, use your eyes.
Yeah, exactly.
But she was threatened, and so she gave him money. Then she gave him more, and then she went like F it, and she just posted them all herself. She's like, these are my nude photos. She just posted them online. She's like, there you go, the damage is done.
Oh my God!
Isn't it funny the way we can react to different situations?
Yeah.
I know.
Oh my God.
Okay, one more thing here because I love it, and then
I gotta check my phone the second we get what pictures I have. I'm like sitting here like horrified.
What do I have? What secret? I know, and you're famous. There are two more quotes here I'd love to share, and one is so beautiful I'd love to wrap on. But this is such a good one. Perfectionism and procrastination have such a fine line. You say, well, I want it to be good. I want it to be perfect. But what you're really doing is not doing your work. You're putting off showing up and being visible because then you're not going to be judged, because you're going to be judged and it might suck. Yeah.
Listen, you will be judged no matter what. So you might as well just get it up there. You're going to. There is no way in hell you're not going to get judged. So
I agree. I remember when I was first starting out and I started getting mean comments, I would look up celebrities that I loved just to see what type of hate they got. Like, so for example, Adele, and that was at a time when Adele was like Rolling in the Deep everyone was obsessed. It seemed that every single person was obsessed with Adele. I managed to find lots of criticism though. And it was like her vapid, vacuous voice. Some people were saying had all these theories, how she wasn't human.
Oh man. See, that's what you're dealing with. Yeah.
I know. Yeah. And then I was researching how the Dalai Lama's a con man. And I'm like, oh, see, like that you can't give your life to the people. You can't do anything with.
Right. Absolutely. No, it's coming. So that's why, and just as important, you should not get caught up in the accolades either, because if you are sitting there reading all your 5-star reviews and thinking about how great you are and, getting all teary-eyed over your, how much everybody loves you, then you're screwed too. So it really is just about doing what feels good, what is fun, what is true, what you feel compelled to do. That's all that matters, because that outside stuff can change on a dime.
Oh, we've seen this in history many, many times. Do you read your reviews? Do you read your fan mail? I mean, no one sends that. I don't read like my Amazon reviews. I don't read reviews about my book or any of that stuff. But I do read when people take the time to write in. My assistant answers it, but he BCCs me on everything. So I do read everything everybody writes in, because if they take the time to do it, I want to read it for sure. Yeah. I just don't answer them all. Of course. I mean, I know the lovely Nate, by the way, he's a gem. Like,
I know.
He's a gem. And you're a busy lady too. So like I feel like he's got a lot to manage. No?
It's all smoke and mirrors. I'm not that busy. I just woke up out of a 2.5-year coma. No, Nate's had a pretty smooth ride for the past 2.5 years, trust me.
Lucky Nate. Oh my gosh. I'm trying to choose which quote to end on, because there are two and I love them both. One is about okay, I think this one, because we're heading into a new year. You see, I'm battling with myself because I haven't got you forever, sadly. This is lovely. Will you lose everything if you open your own restaurant? Who knows? Will unleashing your secret desire to teach tap dancing ruin your reputation as a professional wrestler? Who knows? And who cares? Unless your unknown puts you at risk of death, prison, or bodily harm, you have nothing to lose except living a dull, uninspired life.
Which book is that from?
I You're badass.
Okay.
Isn't it amazing going back and hearing your work or rereading?
God. It's like, yeah, right?
Yeah.
And that's that flip I'm talking about. Like the fear of failure needs to be less than the fear of living a ho-hum life on your one shot in planet Earth. Right?
Oh, yes. I always say, like, I want to go to the grave with my makeup smudged, exhausted, empty martini glass in hand, like going, take me now. I am tired. I used everything you gave me. That's winning. Yeah,
exactly. Right.
So one way I love to end the podcast, Jen, is to ask, what's one thing you do in your life consistently that allows it to be easier?
I catch myself in thoughts that are not moving me in the direction I want to go. I'm getting really good at catching myself before launching a complaint or feeling sorry for myself or focusing on something that's bothering me. It's really, and I'm, that's been sort of the past 6 months of just getting really diligent about that. And man, it makes your hair stand up. What comes in when you get out of resistance and into the flow. It's so fun. I feel like I got in on a magic trick. I really do. And that's why I wrote these books, because I feel like I got in on a magic trick. And I'm just like, oh my God, you guys, check it out, because it doesn't. Well, I was thinking about a quote. I'm going to end on a different quote.
We could keep going for
that I
3
stole
years.
from a friend, and I put it in You Are a Badass. It's so easy once you figure out it isn't hard. Right? It's so easy once you figure out it isn't hard. We are the biggest drama queens. And all we need to do is shift our thoughts and our focus, and everything will shift.
So do you, when you're shifting your thoughts and focus, you catch it because you start to feel a slight negative emotion, and then you go, oh, like I need a bit of a redirect, or I need an upgrade right now. And in the first few seconds, you can do that.
Sometimes, not always, it's a practice, but certainly I'm getting it's just that because I go to the spiritual gym and I'm practicing, I'm aware of it. And I just, I really, and honestly for me, it's like, I just really want to see how good I can get at this and what I can manifest. It's fun. Right? It's like an adventure instead of just being like, blah, blah, blah.
Can I ask one more question? I know.
Yeah.
So if someone, for example, they're going to go give a presentation, like maybe to their boss or maybe to, I don't know, a Zoom community, and they're really nervous, you can really go, I suck. I'm not prepared. The text's going to break. I hate my own voice, right? You can have all these,
that sounds fun.
I have all these filler words. I'm not polished. How would you, if those thoughts were coming up for you in that situation, how would you give a redirect?
Oh my gosh. First of all, I would focus on what's so fun about giving a talk and more importantly, like what the material is that you're excited to share and how it's going to change other people's lives. If you make it not about you and your ego and everybody loving you and you looking good, knocking it out of the park, and you're just like, I want one person to hear something that is going to completely change their lives, that will get you out of your ego and your nerves.
Jen Sincero, where should everyone go to get your courses? Of course, like your book. Where can we direct everybody?
Oddly enough, jensincero.com or the same, but youareabadass.com also goes straight to my website. And so my course is launching in February. I haven't started selling it yet, but I'm coming very soon. If you get on my email list, you'll be the first to know, and you can see all those bad videos I made 10 years ago.
And how do we get in on your tour?
Same. Just if you get on my mailing list or you follow me on Instagram or any of those things,
it's all going to be there.
Yes, I will be talking about it all the time because I'm going to get a little bit better at social media.
And on Jen's site too, you can when you head over, you can get her 10 rules for badass living, which are so awesome, easy. Print them out, tape them somewhere. I beseech you. Oh my, Jen, what a joy, what a privilege for me to speak with you. Thank you so much for being with us.
It was so much fun. You're such an amazing interviewer. I've done a lot, and you really have an interesting way of doing it, which I so appreciate. You're so smart and funny and adorable and inspirational.
I'll start. Thank you so much, Jen.
Thank you.
Until next time.
Okay, great. Take care.
Mwah.